Hello and welcome back with me, Admiral. Joining me back on Star Trek Fleet Command as always. And joining me on a pretty interesting video today. So joining me with these little things called hostile captains. They are sort of elite, sort of PvE-esque type of captains that you have to come across when you do the combat training or when you're doing missions or when you're doing stuff like that. And I got a question the other day of a person called Jeff. Jeff Ovadaya, something like that. We'll just call him Jeff for the purpose of this video. Basically, his question was, there appears to be a gap in setting crew against veteran gold-coloured hostile captains. Some crew builds work better than others. Some crew builds, crew members' abilities do not activate at all. And basically, apparently he's reached out on Discord and no one seems to have give a definitive answer for him. So he's come to me asking about essentially this issue that we come across. And I've done a little bit of digging around. I've asked a few questions to a few people that I know as well. And it seems to me that you can't treat these gold hostiles as PvE characters. Simply because obviously the normal hostile sort of red hostiles as you come across, this gold hostiles don't activate the same way as the terms of the officers. They don't activate the officers in the same way, hence why a lot of them won't work. So my advice to you would be, when you are going against these types of captains, officers, obviously the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to send against them whatever ship theirs is. For example, this is an explorer. So the first thing you want to do, ignoring officers completely for the first bit, is send the triangle against them. So what beats a explorer more? You want to send obviously a battleship of some form against something of this type of ability, and then again you just follow the triangle as well. If you are unable to do that, then obviously you can reach out to then certain officers. And the best runs to run are the best ones that essentially have the best synergies within your ship. So, for example, if we do, in fact, we'll just look at another ship. We'll just look at, ignore the ship. I'll just go through some of the officers. So, for example, if I was to run my Sally, for example, with a good layout, then you're going to want, especially if you've got them upgraded, you're going to want to obviously run the likes of like Gorkon. So Gorkon, his abilities, quick victory. Gorkon increases the chance of dealing a critical hit by 10%. This goes up obviously depending on his synergy bonus. And then his secondary ability is when the ship hits the opponent, it has a 70% chance of causing hull breach. I will go into depth on another video about the different types of things that officers allow. So hull breach is one of them. Then you have obviously what does morale do, and then obviously what does burning do, for example. And that is another question which will come up in another video that I will be doing. But for this sake, he'll cause a 70% chance to cause hull breach. And then if you synergize, say the likes of Gorkon, so we'll just put him in there for now. And if you synergize Gorkon with the likes of Careless, so if you go to Careless secondary obviously maneuver or ability, Careless increases the critical chance or hit damage by 25% when firing a kinetic weapon. So for example, if you obviously put that on a Sally, the first weapon that fires is a kinetic weapon, therefore increasing this ability. Well, it's not 25 anymore because it gets a 10% bonus, so it actually increases it by 35%, I believe. I will double check now, but I believe it is 35%. 25 plus 10%, or maybe it's just for the captain's ability then. So it's still 25%. So you get an increase of 25% to the kinetic weapon, which, like I say, for a Sally, for example, is the big gun. So that'll do that increase for you there. And then personally, I would probably run Koth, because as long as opponent's ship has hull breach, Koth increases the damage dealt by a kinetic weapon by 15% once again. So again, you're getting another massive increase. Obviously, there's other ones you can run as well. I mean, you can, every time the ship is hit with a weapon, increases the armor piercing of your shot by 15%, which again is obviously something else that ties in with the hull breach as well. And then I'm not sure what these other ones offer. Increase the total attack of all officers. That's not really something that you care about. And then if the ship is an interceptor, increases the dodge. So that increases your dodge. It doesn't actually directly affect your sort of attack as such. And then you got Chang as well, which again, his secondary, if the opponent's ship deals a critical hit to the, if your ship, deals a critical hit to the opponent's ship while it has a hull breach, he has a 35% chance of delaying the next weapon's attack by 1 round. I personally don't run that. I personally run Koth, so Koth would go in there, for example, with 5% synergy there. And then that puts your 25% crit chance, and then it puts your ability at 70% altogether. So, 70% altogether. So you are running a pretty decent layout when you're running that type of stuff. But again, it's subject to what ship you have. Obviously, if you're running a Centurion or a Mayflower, for example, you might want to go with the morale setup. The morale setup, if you don't know what that is, so if I just take these off, the morale, the basic morale setup is obviously Kirk as captain. So if we can get to them wherever the hell they are. So yeah, you want to run Kirk as captain. You want to probably run Spock in obviously the number 2 spot, and then you want to run Bones in the number 3 slot. The underneath officers, if you're running, for example, like an Explorer build, something on the lines of that, I would advise to go with as much, underneath wise, I advise to go with as much defense and health as possible. Try and focus on defense just because of Spock's ability. Obviously, the morale, depending on obviously how high up tier he is, obviously this percentage will change, but that is 100% of the defense of all the officers on the ship. So if you are running obviously Spock, try and focus on defense, especially at the bottom, and then Bones' ability, which is the second one, again increases defense of all the officers on the bridge. So that'll help obviously once again with Spock's ability. Again, that's just a basic morale setup. If you are going to run an Explorer, then that's probably one of the better ones to run. Try and run a sort of synergized defense. Try and go for health as well if you can. Don't so much worry about attack. That will just come as and when. But at the bottom, that's what you want to do. If you want to run Gorkon, for example, you want to get as much attack as possible. So if you are going to run the Gorkon crew, for example, focus on attack on the underneath officers. Focus on maxing out attack as much as possible, and if you can fit her in there, try and get health as well, because it just means you'll last longer as well. Defense, don't worry about it so much, I don't personally think, when it comes to interceptors. And if you are going to run obviously a battleship, then again, once again, try and focus on your health as well. The longer you can last, the more damage you can deal, and again, you're going to have to slog it out as such. If you are going to obviously run a battleship or even an Explorer, you can run the Burning crew, which is obviously the likes of Nero. I personally run Nero, Kumak as captain, Nero as the secondary ability, and then I run Vemet as the third one, just because of these burning abilities. Again, that's an underlying one. And then again, underneath, as I just said, try and focus sort of on health, especially if you're running a battleship build. But that's how you got to treat these, unfortunately. So these weird yellow sort of officers, you got to treat them as a PvP, as you're going against another player rather than you're going against the AI, because for some reason, I'm not entirely sure why, they don't sort of count as a AI. I don't, like I say, I'm not entirely sure why they don't count as an AI. So you got to sort of treat them as a PvP and pretend you're going against the players. The best ones, like I say, the best ones to run. If you haven't got obviously the more advanced officers, you're going to want to focus on the generic 3-tier officers, so getting as much synergy as possible, the likes of Gorkon, Morale, or obviously the Burning crews. Once you get into it a little bit more and you've unlocked more obviously officers, you can focus a little bit more on sort of mixing up your crews a little bit more. So you can focus on, if you do have like the likes of wherever he's gone, Khan, you can run Khan to get the extra kinetic or the extra ability. So 1% crit chance, especially if you're running a interceptor, that obviously is going to help, because interceptors get obviously a bonus to crit chance anyway. Alternatively, you can obviously run the likes of Zhao or Yuki. Zhao will only work in the morale setup, but he's very good in the morale setup, so bear that in mind. So if the ship has morale, so you're going to want to run obviously probably Kirk with the him. Again, he has a massive increase to the ship's deflection, armor, and dodge by 30%. That is massive. Again, Yuki is also a good one as captain. It decreases the health 10% of the shields every single round. So if you want to get through the rounds, if you're going to be lasting quite a long round, then she's very, very beneficial to go for. So there is quite a few you can go with. But like I say, the main thing is try and treat the yellow ones, these ones are captains, as PvP. Do what you can in terms of your offers. Try and obviously go with the most highly skilled officers that you have that synergize well together, the likes of ones that I've showed you. Underneath, depending on what ship class it is, try and focus specifically on each different ship. Obviously, if you're going to go interceptor, focus on attack. If you're going to go explorer, I would personally focus on defense and health. And then if you're going to go battleship, again, try and focus on health and maybe a bit of attack as well. That's my personal preference, but the thing that beats these the most is trying to go for the triangle effect. So an explorer, for example, will get taken down much easier or more easily than with a battleship than any other class. So just bear that in mind as well. I hope that answers your question, Jeff. If you do have any more issues, please let me know in the comments down below. Hopefully that's cleared a little bit up for you and what type of crews to go for. Like I said, I will focus more on cruise layout and cruise setups in future videos, so just keep an eye out for them. But hopefully this has helped you out, my friend, and I will see everyone next time. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the videos. If you do want to see more, and post your comments down below. If you want a video spoken about a certain topic or a certain area, please do let me know in the comments section down below, and I will endeavor to answer your call and do what I can. If it's something that I can just quickly comment on, then I will do so. If it's something that I need to potentially put a video together, again, I will do so. The more you help me with video content, the more I can help you and the rest of essentially the game audience out there, the more, because they're guaranteed there'd be more people asking the same question but didn't know the answers. So again, I can help everyone in one video potentially. So I'll see you next time. Bye bye for now.